Mayor, members of the council, yes, those south wind roads are private roads.
But they'll be getting an assessment also for this?
Yes, generally speaking, if we have a private road that services a townhome complex, they all access off that private road onto BB. We have the ability to assess that property.
A friend of mine used to live there, but he sold his townhouse this past year. But he had asked me one time that if we ever do BB Road, to let them know about it, because they want to coordinate something, they have their streets, their private streets fixed at the same time.
Yeah, member of council, yes, I did receive a call about that. So if the project moves forward here and we order the project, that's something that we would look at during the design.
Yeah, they want to coordinate so they can maybe use the same contractor to redo their streets at the same time.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
Yep.
Makes sense.
Interesting.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I will move. Okay, that was a tie.
Well,
I'll second it.
I don't know who talked first. Okay, we'll give it to Mr. Cardinal down there.
it's been moved by Cardinal and seconded by Copen to consider the resolution for BB Road Project 1310. So I'm getting the right one, right? 1310? Okay. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes all, motion passes.
I think if you go outside right now, there'll be a little bit bigger noise coming from the south end, but I think you're going to hear yahoos coming from.
Oh yeah, well, I've been on BB Road too. I mean, it is, the whole, actually,
Yeah.
we know there's a bunch of other roads too that are still waiting. So next we have consider options and alternatives regarding city prosecution contract with Campbell Knutson. I think that City Manager Coleman is going to, are you going to introduce this and then Chief Schnell is going to talk about it?
Thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council. Yes, Chief Schnell and I are tag teaming on this report. This item is coming before you based on a meeting that we had on September 28th, where we had a discussion with our city's prosecutor, Elliot Knetch from Campbell Knutson. And he talked to us about the discussion on compensation, what was in the contract, and what he was requesting, because he felt like the workload was just more than had been planned for, and was asking us to consider an increase to his contract. So with that, I'll let Chief Schnell go into kind of the background and how we're here this evening and talk about the workload a little bit, and then I will talk about the options for the council to consider this evening.
Chief Schnell?
Mayor, Council, after following that meeting, I had the opportunity to meet with Mr. Knitsch a number of times just to discuss kind of some of the challenges that we had. I think there is no doubt that when we looked at the case numbers, some of our efforts around the domestic violence prosecution, and really the number of court appearances that are required relative to our cases, the workload is rather significant. When we did have some conversations with some of my colleagues in other cities who utilize their firm, and our caseload is quite high relative to some of those other cities. And so, as you know, Campbell Knutson Law Firm had bid this at $9,000 per month. During the meeting with Mr. Knitsch, he indicated that in order for the firm to continue, they would need to have that increased to $15,000 a month, so a net of $6,000 per month. Obviously, this was a tough decision for him and for his firm. No one wants to kind of be in the position where they're asking, and I think the risk, I just would communicate that our experience with the Campbell Knutson firm has been positive. We have found them and their staff to be cooperative, and we've had no issues or anything like that. And I think it's been a good working relationship. And so we've had that conversation, but I think for Campbell Knutson, it boiled down to a situation where they needed to be in a spot where, in order to make it economically viable, given the demands of the prosecution caseload here, that they seek an increase, which prompted then the alternatives that Ms. Coleman can address.